Art is a skill, but to many it is considered for a talent. Art is expressed in different forms such as music, poems, painting, and even dancing. Today, we managed to have a chat with a number of artists who paint along the Oginga Odinga Road in Nakuru town.
I'm Benson Odhiambo, and I'm a fine artist based here in Nakuru. Yeah, and this is what I do. Art to me is life. Yeah, because everything we see around is all art. Without art, we will never appreciate life. Music, visual art, and art to me is life. Sincerely speaking, I started doing art around 7, 8 years ago. Yeah, and I liked drawing and painting from when I was young, but I never knew that it could be something that I could do to earn a living from. So professionally, I started doing it around 7 years ago.
My name is Francis Oyengo. What I normally do here, I do the painting. I have my colleague here, Ken, with whom we do painting here. First of all, before I started doing art, I was doing something else. But with what I was doing, after doing what I was doing for some time, I felt that maybe it's not bringing up what I really expected in life. And for that reason, I decided that I should be doing something else that maybe will meet my expectations in life. In this case, I had to consult some few friends, and within that consultation, a friend introduced me to art. And from that time up to now, art is what I'm doing for a living.
My name is Odhiambo Kennedy. I started art when I was still young, still in primary school. It is a talent, and I've grown all through ever since I was young. But commercially, I started it down from 2006, now commercially. That's how I started that.
Talking to them, they told us that art is inborn and is mainly triggered by an inspiration to do something. Although some felt that it is better taught by an expert or a love of art.
Art is a talent, and the talent is an inspiration from within. I just found myself being inspired with doing art. Maybe the level is what matters now, because when I started it, compared with now, I'm in another level, not the same level as the way I was when I was still young. Art is very wide. Now, art being very wide, it means that you can use nearly everything, nearly anything with art. Like for example, as we are talking now, I normally use the raw materials which are locally available, the normal paints, but there are also others which are being found from shops in Nairobi, like places like Textbook Center, Elite, Science Co. Yeah.
Okay, I would see people painting in TV, and I always wanted to be like them. Yeah, so I can't say specifically who, but I've always wanted to do art. Of course, after developing the interest, you must have it polished somewhere. Yeah, so I went to an art school that was based here in Nakuru. It was called the Tears School of Arts. I think you may have heard about it, but nowadays it no longer exists, but it used to be there back then. So that is where I went, and at least got some polishing, yeah, and I was able to come up with.
In each and every piece of art, there is an inspiration behind it. They took us through some of their beautifully made portraits, telling us the deeper meaning of each.
Every work of art should speak for itself. It should have a message. We call the aesthetic value of our work of art. So for example, like this one, it gives us hope. Maasais are known to be having herds and herds of cattle, but this one has only 2. And as you can see, the sun is kind of the sun is setting. So despite lacking, there is still hope.
That guy is not concentrating, he's not looking at what other people are doing. What he's doing, he's moving around and making things that, trying to make his life's things meet at the end of the day by making a coin. Okay, the faces, you cannot see the faces because that kind of art is called abstract. Okay, you remove the face, you remain with the figure. But those are people in prayers. The inspiration behind that is what is happening in the country. Sometimes during the elections where people refuse to accept what other people are doing. Yeah, so the inspiration behind that is that in fact, when we made that painting, it was there were violence, so we wanted to express something behind that. So people were fighting, and the government was dealing with people who are trying to cause violence. That's why you can see the GSU officers, they have apprehended someone there, and there's a hospital, meaning when something happens that somebody is injured, he can be treated. Yeah.
This one, when I was doing it, I had an issue of boy child in the mind, because the issue of girl child has taken the day. I've carried the day all through. So I thought of something, to do something to consider a boy child. If you can look at this picture, this is a woman plaiting the head of the hair of the young girl. And on the other side, you can see there is a boy child doing the house chores. He is washing the clothes. And in real actual sense, on our traditionals, the lady or the woman was the one who was meant to do the house chores. Is it not so? But here, you find it vice versa. So I did it to portray the inspiration behind the society today, or the traditions that we have today, so that the government and the country and the people at large to consider even the boy child, to take them wherever they are supposed to be taken. In art, there are several things that makes the inspiration behind it. First of all, the darkness behind this picture makes it to have an impact. The second is the eye. You find without the eye, without the darkness, you'll just be a normal guy. So the inspiration behind this one is the light factor. The light factor is an innocent girl. The beauty behind despite the background of the darkness and the background behind the poverty, because you can see the clothes is not the nowadays clothes that you girls normally has. So behind all those, she can still afford to have a bright eye. The bright eye normally shows the beauty of a woman.
They felt that the government is doing less as far as art is concerned. They pleaded for help from both the county and national government.
Maybe they are not doing much. Okay, it's not an attitude of people to complain about the government, but maybe it's not doing much to support. Because what we are doing here, for instance, in terms of market, we do marketing by ourselves. If you come here, buy a painting, or see our job and you are interested with our job, you will tell a friend, and a friend will, that's the way, one way of marketing our job. The other way of marketing our job, maybe we use the social media. But the government is not doing that much. Everything, almost everything, we are doing it by ourselves in terms of market. And maybe what the government does is just to ask us to legalize what we are doing by making sure that we have a license to operate, and that's the most they do.
At the moment, the government has helped me in maybe the space where I'm working. If it weren't for the permission granted by the government, we will not be here. Yeah, so I think the space that we are working, it has given us a space to be able to do what we love. But as artists, I cannot say that there is much that has been done apart from just giving me the space and giving me the freedom to work in a good environment. Sometimes I don't know if it still happens, But sometime back we will go for seminars. Yeah, we will be given talks on how to manage ourselves as artists and all that. But at the moment, recently, I have not attended any. Yeah, but at least when it comes to, they have helped us in a way. Yeah.
First of all, they need to recognize what we are doing. That's the first thing. For instance, they can organize, or the county government, if I may bring it down, the county government can come up with the idea that we want to make an exhibition, you see, for them to make sure that the exhibition that they have created for us to showcase our products, for them to make sure that it really makes sense out of it, they need to buy first. They need to buy our products. Okay, they have offices where they can put our products in order to make sure that they are supporting our talent or our jobs. But for them to see us moving from the level we are to the next level, they need to be buying our products, and before they ask other people to buy the products for us. That's the first thing they can do to assist us grow our industry.
Some thought that bringing back creative and art studies to the Kenyan education system will help children who are talented in art learn more and also add more skills to what they already know. This will also help encourage more children to love and learn art.
When the government stopped teaching art and craft in school, most of the people comes to know art when they are way wide, big, and even more others doesn't even know it at all. But if they could have continued teaching that art and craft from kindergarten to primary to secondary school, even the secondary schools, in Nakuru, I can count a few schools which does art. Maybe a school like Menengai, a school like Moi Forces, Nakuru Girls and Nakuru Boys. They're the only schools which does art. And remember, it's on a secondary level. A secondary level which, if it's good, each and every single school could be doing it. And by that, everybody could have known art, they could have embraced art. Because if you compare Kenya with other countries which they know art very well, you find everybody has embraced art and they sell it at a good money and they make a living out of it.
They also had a word for the young upcoming artists and the jobless youths.
Number one, people need to be innovative. Yeah, don't just sit there and wait things to happen. And if you start doing something, don't copy what other people are doing. Try to do something, create something. Look at our art, for instance. Maybe this, to an artist, when an artist sees what is happening here, we'll see some art into it. If you go anywhere, maybe you'll see some art that are almost the same. But if you are innovative enough, you'll see something different. You'll create things. And if you create things, people will see new ideas, and people will buy. People love to buy new ideas other than the old ideas or the normal ideas that people are selling in the streets all the time. So for anybody that is at home there, wants to do art, or is doing art, or he has an idea of art and he wants to make inroads into art, the best thing he can do is to be innovative enough, come out, work, face the challenges, and maybe if you face the challenges, you'll be able to deal with the challenges and move to the next level.
Don't go for art simply because you lack a job. Okay? This is not a job for people who doesn't have jobs. Because if we say so, it means that every Dick and Harry who has got no job will just come for art and you'll make it. Yeah? This is a job for somebody who is passionate with it. This is a job for somebody who really knows what he wants in life. Yeah? Because there is always some times which you have a lot of money and there is a times which you don't have at all. So you can just make it when you have passion in art, passion in it, okay?
Raw materials, it is not that expensive to start doing art. What's important is that you can create something, give it value. Yeah, that's all that is important. For example, like this one, as long as you have a piece of, you have a canvas, you have your paints. Maybe around 3,000 is enough to start this, because at the end of the day, it is what you put on the canvas that will matter.
Reporting for VBN TV, I'm Bevlyne Otari.